so early. You guys want to get some coffee or something?
Can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Even little kids in Mexico drink coffee.
Well, I'm not a little kid in Mexico, okay?
Good morning. I'm drinking coffee like a good kid in Mexico. It is so yummy.
Well, I hope that is coffee because you're not in Mexico. You're not a kid, and you're not good. So
I'm a real boy. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's Military Monday, which also means it's Monday. The beginning of another work week for most people. Not everybody. I want to say good morning to the chat. Let's see who's all here. Of course, Krampus Jeebus opening the show in the chat. Penny was next. D. Bud Martin, Alex Moore, The Dork Knight, Penny's son. Dragon. Which dragon?
I'm sorry, I
Dragon
pressed
Ruse.
before the time.
Oh, Dragon Ruse.
Dragon.
Okay. Yeah. Snortopupus Cuber is here. Anybody else dropping in?
No.
Did you mention Penny?
That's it so far?
Oh,
yes, yeah. I did. Penny was second person in.
Ah, yeah.
Krampus has this. He's got OCD, man. I got to be first.
Actually, the first person on my list is Mad Mardigan, who wanted to get invited for this.
Oh, where is he?
Yeah,
it was at 7:28, and then Anima was after that. So
yeah,
I didn't see either of their posts. Let's send him an invite. Fuck, I'll invite him.
Yeah,
I love
it's
Mad.
not there.
Yeah, it doesn't show up on my screen.
I remember them answering to him. I forgot.
Yeah, after a while, they get deleted.
So let me look him up in my Mad. Where you at, Mad? There he is.
Match again.
yeah, they had. I had. That just means I had my window open early for the show. Morning, Joe.
Oh, Joe's in the house.
Hi, Joe.
Coming in, John? Joe?
All right. So, hey, Joe. Joe's welcome to join us anytime you want, especially on Military Monday, because he, like me, is a military vet. Krampus breaking through the anal breach with a backdoor reference.
Of course he does. He can't wait 10 minutes without doing that. Makes him physically sick to not do it.
OCD, man. It's a hell of a drug.
Can't hold it back. He can't
Look,
hold
man,
back
I got
that.
OCD. I fucking know what OCD is like. Man, there are things I just like, I gotta say something. Here we go.
Hi, Sax. Sax is in the house.
Kyle.
Yep.
Hey, I didn't see the video in here. On YouTube, yeah, I saw Scanlan, but here, it didn't show for me.
I saw it. That's weird.
So it's
Martin
just
is
me.
defective.
Oh, no, I know that. That's no secret.
We all know.
By the way, I think I said some shit about Venezuela yesterday, and I tagged you on it. You see that?
Oh, no, I didn't see my phone the whole day.
I was giving one of my little soapbox speeches about communism, what it's done. It's always democratically elected socialists that introduced communism. That's how they do it. Socialism is the welcome mat to the door of communism. Hello, humans.
Joe can't join. Joe has a last-minute commission for Christmas.
Yeah, I've got to do some work today too, man. Yeah, I get you.
Snortopus is the hardest working polar bear on the internet.
Well, there's a lot of vitamin A in that liver.
You know what, guys? I have an answer to all the Christmas shit. Here goes.
Yeah.
Hey!
She's the Grinch.
Between you and Jeebus?
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Because I can
you
have multiple
really
avatars.
are a heel. You're as prickly as a cactus and as cuddly as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
So we have a Krampus and a Grinch.
Yes.
We're ready for roll.
Yay!
Yeah, I don't have any Christmas sounds.
What?
I don't have any Christmas sound effects.
That's fine. We don't need them.
Oh my goodness!
I just had the worst joke in the world pop into my head, and I will never say it. Yes, your liver is toxic. The single bite from a polar bear liver will kill you. One bite.
That's an interesting fact.
It is. I've always been fascinated by that. By the way, I did star a couple of comments. Krampus said, wouldn't in the Army now be closer to when Backdoor Gary was in the military? Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, it was made
And
in the 90s. That's
jury duty was better. And I got to tell you something. There is not one Pauly Shore film better than the other because they're all just Pauly Shore. If I was to say that one film was written better, it was Encino Man.
Yep.
It was the best written Pauly Shore film. And I loved in the movie, and I pointed it out, even though she has never seen Encino Man, I pointed out to Anima that Link makes a cameo appearance played by Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
So there we go. Well, I got to tell you, if you try to eat the liver of a living polar bear, you're just asking to get murdered. The bear will kill you before the liver does.
Even without cocaine.
You won't even get to the liver.
Yeah. Of course, Kyle, good morning, and Joseph Dredd is here. Joseph Dredd, of course, is second cousin, twice removed of Judge Dredd.
And it's our mission for today's show to keep Sax awake. He just told me in chat.
Morning all. I'd love to be there. Yep. Okay. I'm doing this. Okay. I'm not getting to read any of these fucking things. Thanks, buddy. Somebody snorted some cocaine today. I'm not saying it's Martin, but he was going through those chat posts pretty quick.
I don't do that.
It looks like Mad Mardigan hasn't seen my invite. So I don't know what time he posted that.
Oh, dark phrasing.
What to say?
I'm doing a SummerSlam 1992 watch along right now, but I'll pop in and out.
Phrasing. Yes.
Oh my god, hold on.
Phrasing. Phrasing.
I'm coming out.
Hey, I did see it. I saw that one.
So how did the show go yesterday, guys? John?
Well, I think it went fine. I have a new respect for what Martine does.
Yeah, you did something Martin does all the time with me. I'll jump in just to see how things are going, and he'll just automatically throw me up on screen. And I'm like, no. I can fucking do it if I want to. I didn't want to. I just wanted to pop in and see how things were going. And I didn't expect that from. You fucking did it. I was like, I panicked. And like,
Gary, the face you made was priceless because I went back and watched it. Your face
I was just like,
What can I say? If I see someone in the backstage, I'll just put them on.
Yeah,
isn't not that the way to do it?
Yeah, well, now you know, guys. Don't throw Gary up.
Okay.
Yeah, don't put me up. I'll put myself up.
You never told me that.
I just popped in just to see how things were going. I wanted to kind of watch from the background. And look at the chat and see and also I was going to write in the private chat right before, or right at the moment you added me to the show, John. I was just going to write in the chat, have a good show, guys. And then I'm live. I'm like,
You don't like it. Like someone is start a stream without warning.
Oh, yeah. No, that's different.
All right.
Because it's my show.
It is my face.
I know I'm a dick. I think you have a beautiful face. We love you,
You
man.
prove it every day, Gary.
We love you so much. Yeah, I know. I'm a dick.
You should get a.
She
a
corrected
blush.
me last night because I said, I could be an asshole. And she goes, no, you're a jerk. You're a dick.
How much love in those words?
It means a lot when she says that to me because she understands me really better. And I made a post last night. I'd like to read that. I had a couple of posts that I thought were worthwhile, because I wax philosophical. It's why my dad's nickname for me was Phil. And whenever you read something I wrote, there's always a character named Phil in it. And that is me what do they call it? Romancing the stone, putting myself in the story. And I use that name because of my dad. It's a nod to my father. Backstage door is what you should have said.
Oh.
Backstage door, Gary Zachs. But yes, I like that.
And it just made me laugh because he said it felt great when it was over.
Dork, you may be finding yourself being asked to do that with other shows. Anyway, I used to do that with our show, The Scoop Zone, but I haven't done it since. But I wouldn't mind going back and doing it to some of our shows. I just, I hate my voice.
You should do a timestamp for when the ADD theater is over and the actual show begins.
Yeah. Well, we wait until everybody's here to start the show.
I know.
That's how we do it every day. 15 to 20 minutes of us just knocking around, waiting for everybody to show up. Dick is asshole adjacent. I studied human anatomy. My favorite description was in Team America at the end. Sometimes dicks want to fuck a pussy, and sometimes dicks want to fuck an asshole. But you don't cross them. Never cross the stream. I love that movie, Team America. That is a combination of two great creative teams. You had Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and you had the Chiodo brothers. That shit was amazing. But what's funny is, as much money as that film made for Paramount, you'll never see a sequel to it because, as Trey Parker and Matt Stone said, no fucking way do we want to do that again. What a nightmare making that movie. It was one of the most exhausting productions they'd ever put together. Oh, Kingsport Cal is here?
Yeah.
I didn't see him. Where is he? There he is. Okay. Morning, King. How you doing, buddy? So, all right. We are now close to the 15-minute mark. I think we're probably at the highest number we're going to get for a little bit. And I was kind of hoping that Mad Mardigan might pop in. But I am not seeing him. Wait. Nope, he didn't respond. He hasn't read my private message. So. Crap. Oh, well. Thanks for building my hopes up, guys, that Mad might join us.
That's just what it said.
COD. All right, man. Good to see you. Good morning. All right. We lost somebody, though. We gained somebody, then lost somebody. Or two people. But anyway, let's get into this. We're going to be talking about two films. Both of them technically classics now because they're over 20 years old.
Your audio is really bad, Gary.
And what do we want me to do about it?
I'm just letting you know.
It means nothing to me. I mean, I could join but I'm probably still in timeout. What do you mean timeout?
You timed him out for derailing the show.
Yeah. You can consider yourself a timeout for that. I will try you again after you've been consistently on your medication. I'll check with your mother first.
Oh my God.
Penny is Dork Knight's narc for me. Fair enough, he said. Everybody knows I love Danny. So I love Donnie and I love Danny, but I love them different ways. Phrasing, yeah. Look, man, anybody with the name Dork Knight has no room for saying phrasing. So shall we start with Stripes first? It is the older film.
And the better.
Stripes came out in 1981. I was still 16 when it came out. And to go see movies like that, my dad had to take me. So I went to see it with my dad, and my dad enjoyed the shit out of that movie. Even though both of us, I didn't know at the time just how not like the military that movie is. There are some moments in there that they do capture that are similar to the military, but most of it, for the most part, is just absolute nerd boy fantasy of what they think the military is like. And things are shown out of order. But they even did that with the other film, showing things out of order. And because there's an order to the training and basic training. And you're not marching until they teach you how to march. You try to march and you look stupid. You were 1 year old? Damn.
No, -1.
-1. Oh, shit. I thought that was a hyphen, but it is a negative. So Stripes opens with this great scene of basically John Winger having a bad day. And I thought that was a real clever way to show it, because it's really oddly a way a lot of us go into the military. We've had a series of bad days, a string of them. And we just go, I need a change. And especially for those of us that are older, when we go in, like, what the fuck are you doing?
That?
It sounds like football or soccer.
Oh, sorry. That's my alert, but I have to leave it on because I got that meeting that's supposed to happen here shortly. So,
yeah, if you're not saying anything, just mute. That'll save us from. Yeah, well, then you said something right after you muted. That's.
How dare you,
John? Anyway, so we open with John Winger. He's having a bad day. One guy stiffs him for his bill in his taxi cab, takes off running. Thanks for the ride. Bolts. And right after he chases the guy, this old lady comes in there and she's like, give me a ride, and just starts immediately demanding shit from him. To be careful with her luggage. His reaction to her for, stole fucking slaves me. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, lady. I thought that was a dog around your neck. It's a good scene. I can't remember who that lady was. What was her name? Hold on, let me get it real quick here. It was. Oh, where is it? And by the way, every time I look, I never see it, but Bill Paxton is in the movie. There it is. Fran Ryan. She did a lot of movies and TV back in the day. And that was really one of the last things I remember seeing her in, was in Stripes as the old lady. And it was a funny scene. He just finally hits a boiling point where being robbed and then getting or stiffed, it's still robbery. Stealing a ride from a taxi cab driver, not paying is theft. And So he starts like fucking with her. And one of the first things he does that really cracks me up is the whole, I probably shouldn't have drank all that cough syrup while driving. And he starts swerving all over the road, driving.
I love that.
And then
totally fucked with her.
And then he says, well, really, this is a part-time job. In my real life, I'm a photographer. And he grabs a camera. I just like really, taking pictures of real life while I'm driving. And he's snapping pictures of her. And she's, what is your name? I'm going
She freaks out.
Yeah, she's completely freaked out.
Eyes on the road.
And then she's just malicious towards him. She really is. She's what we would call today a Karen, giving somebody a hard time because they think it's their right and privilege to do it. And then he stops the car in the middle of traffic on the bridge. He just climbs out and he goes, I don't want to take you.
He's blocking like 2 lanes.
Yeah, he's blocking 2 lanes on one side, but then he stops traffic and you hear cars hitting each other. And he just walks very calmly over to the bridge and edge and throws the keys off. And that is, I'm done with this part of my life right now.
He has a moment though. He looks at the keys and then he sighs and tosses them. So
yeah,
like, do you really want to do this?
It's a decision.
Guys.
It is a decision. Then he goes home and he's got his girlfriend's dress and a pizza. And he sees a repo guy taking his car, drops the pizza and her dress. He gets run over, and then he goes home to announce his presence to his girlfriend. And his girlfriend is absolutely just done with his bullshit, And even though she's kind of a cunt about it, the fact is, I understand.
He keeps doing that. It's not the first time.
This is a repetitive behavior of his, which means really his character, John Winger, is at a point where he needs a change, a drastic change in his life, because he's and he even says it later when Harold Ramis, who's teaching an English class to foreign nationals who are becoming American citizens.
You call that teaching?
Yeah, he doesn't know how to teach.
We have Mikey in the house.
Mexican Iron.
Hi, Mikey.
Gary, your audio is cutting in and out. So I don't know what to do about it, Mikey, when this happens. I really don't know what to do. I can unplug it.
Make Gary's audio great again.
But
yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
I don't know if
we just can't find it.
Doesn't work when I unplug it and replug it in.
Well,
it works fine now.
It got better.
Yeah, I'm just prepared for one of you guys. Your audio's fucked up again. Brother and Animals Savior. Yep. Mexican Iron Man. And I know that video of you is fake because, as I said in my post, you are a two-fisted taco-eating motherfucker. You would not have the ability to grab that ledge. You would have just fallen straight and protected those tacos with your life. That's a fact, Jack. That's a fact, Jack. Anyway. So, yeah, thanks to Mexican Iron Man, saved the day. So anyway, he gets home, and there's a scene very similar to this, by the way, in Dirty Works with Norm Macdonald, when he's like walking home and he starts seeing people running past him wearing his clothes, and he goes, "Hey, I have a shirt just like that." He gets back to his house, his girlfriend kicked him out and throwing his shit out the door or out the window. That's a funny scene. Definitely a spin on the Bill Murray scene from this movie. Yep. That's the Mighty Mouse song. Here I come to save the day. Mighty Mouse. It's Mexican Iron Man is here to stay. So, his girlfriend, rightly so, breaks up with him and leaves.
And he's behaving like a kid, like holding onto her leg.
Yeah, it's cute. Like, it's funny. I'm the acorn that could, or I became the oak tree, giving her every reason. And the fact is, he's kind of a spoiled character. His character is spoiled. And you see that when he's in the army. He's so used to being, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room when he's not always.
He's smart though. He's just not using it.
He's very smart, but he's also lazy.
Yeah.
And that really shows that he barely gets those push-ups done, man. I was the same age as his character when I went into the army, and they said I was too old. And I out push-upped all those motherfuckers when I got there. I was doing 100 push-ups, man, already when I went in the army because I was an athlete, you know. Man, Winger's character is not. He has no discipline. He has nothing. And I made it a point to watch Stripes the night before I left. And there was a funny moment when I was like doing our first obstacle course. And it was rough. And I was going over top of one of the logs, and I looked up, and it's because I looked at him. The drill sergeant was standing there right next to the log pile I was climbing over. Because I looked at him, he automatically looked right back at me because you peripherally know when someone's looking at you. And he turned and he looked at me, and I looked up at him. And right when he looked at me, I said, "This is nothing like Stripes." And then I just kept going, and he started laughing. And I got old. The fuck, Krampus? Jesus Christ. It happens. And I raised the kid by myself. And my only comfort was donuts. Well, actually, it was Swiss rolls by Little Debbie.
I bet raising Zoe aged you like 10 years.
Oh, absolutely. Stressed me out so much, especially when she hit her teens.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of my aging happened because I would tell people, you know, there are moments when I want to hug the shit out of her. Other moments when I want to Bart Simpson choke the shit out of her. Just knock some sense into her. But, you know, I'm one of those people that always, before I act, I always stop and go, "Do you really want to do that?" And I'll go, "No, no, I don't want to do that. No, don't do that." Because I'm very much anti-physical contact outside of basic hugs. What was that? Gary could not do.
Oh my
even
God. He's shooting up.
No, I can too. You would not believe how strong my chest and arms are. My maximum bench press is still right around 500.
Yeah, the muscles are still there. You just don't see them.
Yeah, muscle memory is amazing. I went to that gym. When I went to the gym to work out, and those teenage guys that were in college were like, "Yeah, you can work out with us." And they had their weights on the bench, and they were like struggling with it. I walked over and I started pumping reps off with it. And they're like, "Holy shit." And so, yeah, I always freaked my friends out. Like I worked out with Mac and my buddy Sean one day. And they were like so impressed with themselves. "We did 200, 300 pounds. I got on there. It was like the scene from, what was that movie? Unbreakable. I said, "Put everything on there." And they did. They put everything they could find on the ends of those bars, and I bench pressed it, and I like did reps with it. And they're like, "You've got muscle under that tub." And I'm like, "Yeah."
So if I get onto your back and just hang out there,
I can walk around
notice,
with you
probably.
on my back for hours. I can put you on like a backpack and just walk around with you.
It's like putting a stamp on you.
Untrue, Mexican Iron Man. Untrue. I've lost the 300 pounds because of the fact I do work out. And I'll keep losing it. I have to lose another 100, 120 pounds and I'll be good. I'll be back to army weight. I got up to 650 pounds raising Zoe. I was stressed. Very stressed. But anyway.
You're doing a great job, Gary.
Thank you. She's pretty awesome. Adult now. I can't say kid. She's my kid, but she's an adult now. She's out there adulting, knocking it out of the park. Love her. Just admire her. So he sees that damn commercial. And because I remember those commercials back in the 80s. And it was funny. And he's like, "I could do that." And Harold's like, "No." And then Harold somehow finds himself mixed into the plan, which is also very similar to my own because my buddy John went with me. when I signed up. And
Do you want to mention the basketball scene? Because that cracked me up.
Oh my God! Yeah. Well, he clearly wasn't trying to shoot it at the basket. He threw that bullet right through the window, and it went out there. And then he yelled down somebody to, "Hey, would you throw that back up 3 thanks, buddy?" And it goes through the other window, breaks it. That's a great little gag. And hey, Shellback's here. He's another veteran. Navy counts. Yeah, the only one that barely counts with me is Air Force. But Shellback is a Navy veteran. Good morning, buddy. And so basically, Harold Ramis challenges, can you even do 5 push-ups? And he bets him, and Bill Murray wins. He gets the $5, but he realizes, man, I'm not in shape at all. And so the Army's it. Army will fix me. It'll fix what's broken with me. And what the Army will do is, if you lack confidence, if you lack discipline, it'll give you those 2 things. And that's really what I needed from the Army. It helped me with both of those. And I got rid of divorce. Yeah, I knew that was coming, sort of poop. Oh, I said, oh man, is this a divorce joke? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And so they go and do the scene where they're with the recruiter, and the recruiter asks them 2 questions, even though there's more questions they ask you. Are you now, have you ever been a communist? Is one of them.
Well, what he asks them is, have you ever been
convicted of a felony? I actually responded the same way. No, I've never been convicted.
Yeah, because Bill Murray was convicted? No.
Yeah.
So, all about the wording.
Yeah, and what I said to the guy was absolutely, I stole the line from Bill Murray, but I did it a little differently. When he asked me if I now or have I ever been a homosexual, I said, no, but I'll do anything for my country. And basically, they signed their agreement, and Harold's not happy. I don't want to do this. Did you hear him? You kill people. You're trying to kill people. You might have to. I'm a pacifist. I don't want to be killed or kill anybody. And but Harold goes along with him, and because they're best friends. And next thing you know, they're on their bus, which is true. You go there. What I'm going to tell you, there are no MPs at the bus station. It's just you take a bus, and it takes you to your destination. And once you get on the bus, almost everybody that's on there is military, because it's going to the military base.
But they needed to introduce the 2 girls.
Yes, I meant it that way too, D-Bud. I meant it that way. So you're not catching me. I meant it that way. I was saying that to the recruiter that when he asked if I was gay, I said, I will do anything for my country. And they get on the bus, we meet the 2 female MPs. And this is the establishing moment that, this is going to be the 2 that's going to like them, because they clearly kind of enjoy them a little bit.
A little bit at this point, but they get to like them, to really like these guys. Because
the attraction always happens up front, even if it's annoyance. Even if you're annoyed slightly, the attraction is there.
Yeah, so I was annoyed with you at first.
They go to the post. The first thing you do in real Army is you go to a place called reception. Now, at reception, these are not drill sergeants. These are failed drill sergeants that have either been drill sergeants and were demoted, or people that never got to be drill sergeants because they weren't good enough. And they're in charge of you, and they have an attitude. This is where you are given your opportunity to get rid of any contraband you may have inadvertently brought with you. They give you this chance. They let you go into a room. There are no cameras. There's just a trash bin. And they can't identify who threw what into that trash. So you're supposed to throw your stuff in there. You're not able to take anything out because you can't reach it. And then you go to a barracks and you wait for however many days until your cycle begins. And ours ended up being 2 weeks because of delays with that previous basic training. We got stuck in reception an extra week, a little over an extra week. But so this is what you go through in the real Army. But in the movie, they go straight up and go right in for their haircuts. And we meet the captain of the company. And it's played by John Larroquette. What was his Captain? What was his character's name? Hold on.
I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot too.
They skip over a lot.
Captain
of stuff.
Stillman. Captain
They
Stillman
basically they rush through the whole training.
They rush through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But we do meet Drill Sergeant Halka. And Halka, by the way, is played again by Warren Oates, probably one of the greatest actors, Western actors to actors, period, from that era. And my God, he was a good actor. And also, by the way, he was a fucking Marine in real life. So when he snaps that salute, he salutes exactly the way I've showed you, the way we saluted. And because that's how we saluted. Permanent Party has a way of saluting better than new officers and recruits. Recruits will do this stupid shit with a pinky up and thumb down. And no, if you're Permanent Party, a majority of you Permanent Party guys salute this way. They don't even do this shit. It's up to the brow this way and then back down. And he salutes like that, and I fucking love that. And I love that moment when Captain Stillman walks up to him, and Warren Oates, Halka turns to him and says, "Good morning, Captain." And Captain gets that look on, like, "What'd you just say to me?" And immediately Halka knew this guy wants his fucking salute, man. This is a salute-hungry dude. So he snaps to and gives him the salute, and he does that really bad Hollywood salute. And it's a funny moment because you basically establish with one single moment, oh, this guy is an officious prick. He's going to be a problem. And I love the way they wrote some of this stuff. The haircut scene is funnier when you learn that John Candy wasn't told they were really going to do it.
Oh my God, yeah. The look on his face was genuine. He was so
and
pissed.
that look when he walked out was caught by Ivan Reitman said he wanted to catch that look. He says he really was not happy. And that was his hair that he walked out with. And it was funny.
Guy.
It was funny. Poor John Candy.
Fucked up.
No guy that big would ever be in the military.
Yeah.
They had to make a special uniform for him because military doesn't make uniforms that big. And they've got some fat bodies in the military, nowhere near as big as good old John Candy. But John Candy helped that movie. I loved his character. Snarky, fucking, just a constant salesman. The same thing with Bill Murray. Bill Murray is a salesman. His character is a salesman. That's this type that's constantly playing a character. They're playing a character that's not really them. And the whole part of this film, and this is one of my big letdowns with the film, is that I thought we should have done more. They should have done more with the breaking down of his character and getting to the real guy that was in there. And that's why I felt those push-up scenes were leading to, was the breakdown of his character. Now, we do see that he changes a little bit, but we don't see the breakdown. And the breakdown is what occurs in the military because you start finding out who the core you is in the military. You find out a lot of things about yourself, what you're able to do, as well as what kind of shit you're not going to put up with. And
they could have done that more. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they all grow in character, but they could have done more.
Yeah, and I thought it was a mistake later to have Warren Oates tell him, "I don't like you." I thought that was a mistake. I don't think that was what Warren Oates' character, Sergeant Halka, was focusing on with him. He was focusing on him to break him of these bad habits. And because there really was a story in there that I think they kind of lost in the translation. And sadly, by the way, also the version we watched that Anima and I watched was the special edition. So it's got that weird scene where they try to escape the army and end up in
yeah.
Bolivia or some shit like that.
We skipped
And it's
over
just
that.
such a dumb scene. It makes no sense. It breaks the narrative. It breaks the story. It interrupts the movie. It's an interruption. It's like another movie inside of a movie.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Also,
I've never liked
well,
that scene.
While all the military stuff isn't really correct, this one is just over the top, unrealistic. Never
Yeah,
going
it
to
just,
happen,
yeah,
so.
I was not happy with that scene. And I wish they'd never added. I just wish they'd just left it on the DVD as a deleted scene, because you can see why it was deleted. It's an interruption to the actual story. But it explains the next scene when they're in the barracks. All right, one of you wise guys left post, and for that I'm going to punish the shit out of you.
Some of you guys. He said some of
yeah,
you.
some of you
it's
guys.
more than one.
And so, Sergeant Hulka was actually probably one of the better characters in the film. And I always liked the way he acted. I mean, he wasn't R. Lee Ermey by any measure, but I thought he did a good job representing drill instructors. I really did. Now I'm going to point out again, Bill Paxton is soldier number 8, and I keep looking, and I can't find him, so I'm going to try to find him again the next time I watch it. But I pointed out there are 2 people in the film that I really like that are minor characters, but they are in almost every major scene. One of them, of course, is John Deal, and he plays the moron character Cruiser, which he's talked about that it was hard to play that character. It's hard to play that dumb,
He's
that
funny.
naive. He's great in it.
He's really a background character, but he adds.
That's when he's banging his head on the bedpost as they're playing poker, and John Candy's just fucking taking him. He's in salesman mode, taking him to the cleaners. And then another person is a guy I went to high school with, Judge Reinhold, was in it. And this was right out of high school. He did this, and he did Magnum PI right out of high school, man. Judge did good, man. And that fucking guy. Another one that you see a bit part in there is Timothy Busfield. He was one of the stars of the TV series 30-something, which I enjoyed it. I was in the Army when that came out, and I was watching shit out of that. But it has a great cast in it. Dave Thomas has a bit part. This movie is almost like an SCTV movie. You had Joe Flaherty, Dave Thomas, and John Candy in it. I don't think there are any other SCTV people in there, but Bill Murray was a member of the Second City Troupe that did the stage stuff, not the TV show. And I don't think anybody else again was in there. Harold Ramis worked with them too. He worked with National Lampoon and Second City, so he's also a Second City guy. Is my audio breaking up again?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, all good now.
So they start training immediately. They're doing things that you wouldn't be doing. A lot of your first week is DNC, drill and ceremony. You learn how to march. They got to teach you how to get from one spot to the other, and you got to understand the commands.
That one scene triggered me so badly when you see them marching and you see 3 other groups, and every group marches at a different pace. Like that was like, no.
Well, when you see now, in one group, they're marching. They're supposed to march at their own pace. Each group that you're seeing on the parade field, they're not marching at the same pace. They're going to be marching at whoever's in charge of them, the cadence of their.
It looked like they were just walking.
But that was the problem early on. They don't. To be honest with you, that was a problem all the way to the end of the movie. In that final scene, I pointed out the columns were fucked up. They're all out of time with each other. None of them learned how to fucking march. It was funny.
And most of the salutes were bad as well.
One of the first things you have to learn is a pivot step when you turn left, because each column has to pivot at a different pace. So you learn how to move at a proper angle and then keep always in line with each other. That is your first 2 weeks and then you also do weapons training. But
And
they have
don't
these
show that
guys
at all.
they have one scene where they're out on the shooting range, and the guy starts shooting at the
With
geese
a mortar,
going over.
yeah. But they didn't really
No, it's the geese.
that one,
And-
yeah.
And that's the only scene at the shooting range. But shooting range is really like you get like several opportunities shooting. You got to go to the armory, pick up your weapon and your ammo. You're actually not given ammo until you're actually right before you're going to shoot.
Makes sense.
And each one of us, what we would do to help the soldier that's coming after us, we would, because you have to report all brass. And so what we would do is we would take the magazine, and as we unloaded it and getting ready to get out of the foxhole, we would dump the rounds out into the dirt and then report no brass, no ammo. And so you didn't have to dump any ammo into the barrel. And then the next soldier got in there would grab those extra rounds and load them into the magazine so they'd have extra shots to qualify. It's cheating, but we didn't care. It was all about the guy next to us. And it's the first thing we really started learning early on is to take care of each other. So Holka does another scene that's very real. Before basic really starts, and after they do the shark frenzy, the shark frenzy is when you are unloaded, not by a bus, but by a fucking truck. They put you in cattle cars, and they unload you right outside the barracks. And you have every drill sergeant there. And it's called the shark frenzy or the frenzy. And they are screaming at every one of you, get off my truck. And if you go slow, they will fucking smoke you right then and there. They will drop you. And this is a problem I have with a lot of military movies. They'll go, drop and give me 20. That's not what they say. They go, drop and beat your face, is what they say. There's no number because they don't know how many they're going to make you do. Their whole thing is they got to break you. And so they will make you do push-ups until they get tired of making you do push-ups. So there's no number. To you, in your mind, this could be endless. This could go on forever. And it's meant to be terrifying. That's why they'll never give you a number. It's like, oh, do 20. All I got to do is get 20 out. Now, what is funny is PT tests when you have to get 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups. And you're sitting there doing your best, man. And you hear a drill sergeant go, 15, up, 15. And you go, I just did 15. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? And you're like pay attention to the rigidity of your body, and you're going back down. You come back up, 15. And you're like, fuck, what am I doing wrong? It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Drill sergeants are mean motherfuckers.
I told you one of my dance instructors did this in ballet training, where there's a lot of repetitive stuff. And she would just go like 12, 12, 12. And like,
the frenzy, the shark frenzy, the shark attack. They descend on recruits. They descend on them in the most horrifying way. And when I was getting out, I jumped out. I just jumped right down to the ground with that big fucking duffel bag. I'm like, fuck it, I'll break a leg. And the guy behind me, I remember his name to this day. His name was Condon. He grabbed the handrail. Oh,
like a granny.
I told him, when he told me his name in the truck, I looked at him and went, I would not want your name for all the money in the world. You are going to get fucked with. They're going to fuck with you because of your name. And of course, he was called Condom and Prophylactic. Poor
guy.
He grabbed the handrail because he was a short guy. He grabbed the handrail because that's a huge step. He grabbed the fucking handrail. And I remember Drill Sergeant Marititi is the one who fucking saw him. Drill Sergeant Titty, as we called him, the guy with the big man boobs. He fucking saw that, and he just roared at him like a wild animal. And I was like, oh, shit. I got the fuck out of the way. And he's like, get off my fucking truck. And Condon stopped to look at him, paused, which made him even angrier. Oh, it's so fucking funny. That poor guy. That's what happens to you. The shark attack, the frenzy, the shark frenzy. It's all about the blood in the water, man. It's all about the blood in the water, and they're going for you. That first day is just absolutely some of the best comedy you will ever see, but don't you ever get caught laughing. And every platoon has multiple drill sergeants. Now, it's different than the Marine Corps. Marine Corps calls them drill instructors. U.S. Army calls them drill sergeants. And depending on who your senior drill instructor is in the Army, to whether you say drill sergeant or sergeant, it's up to them. It's their preference. For us, the first word out of our mouth was drill sergeant. The last word out of our mouth was drill sergeant. So if you had to go take a piss, you go, drill sergeant, permission to take a piss, drill sergeant. It's funny. So yeah, anybody that didn't take ballet doesn't know. I know athletes, football players, pro football players who took ballet just to tone up. And they came back saying that shit's back breaking to do.
It looks so easy.
These are big fucking athletes coming back going, ballet, man. That's not for pussies.
It's really problematic for them because they are big, because they're so bulky. Because that's not the muscles you need for ballet.
Just don't do it, Gary. They aren't the boss of you. So in Stripes, immediately they're unloading. They go in, get their hair cut. They have that great scene. And we meet Psycho for the first time.
Oh, that one is creepy.
Psycho Francis does his thing. And then, of course,
don't call him Francis. You'll make the list.
Senior Drill Sergeant Hulka is doing his sit down at the powwow, and everybody surrounds him. That actually does happen. It led to some funny hijinks on my part when the drill sergeant got to me. I've told this story. I don't want to tell it right now, but it's I fucked with my drill instructors. And in this scene, Bill Murray does the same thing, but in a different way. He's doing it car salesman-like. And that's, you got two car salesmen in the film. The two car salesmen are John Candy's character, Dewey Oxenberger, and Bill Murray's character. They're both, they have a persona character that they put on. That's their salesman personality. Taco Bell. Yeah, sadly, we don't have Taco Bells on post. All you have is Burger King, because Pepsi has a contract with the U.S., the Department of Defense. So you have Burger Kings and Pepsi on all posts. Fobs, you have a fob out in like Afghanistan or Iraq, you've got Pepsi products on post.
Pepsi sucks. Dare I say it?
I'm not a Pepsi fan.
No.
But I'll tell you, depending on where they are in the United States, they split the distribution between them, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, for years. I don't know if they still do, but for decades, they split the distribution.
They do it here in restaurants.
In the military, they do these punishments. They don't really show it in the film, this film, but they do show it in the second film that we're going to talk about, which is, it's like grass drills from football. And I saw somebody brought that up, suicide drills. Grass drills are very similar. Grass drills in football, that's where your coaches are smoking your ass because you fucked up somewhere. And in the Army, they do the same thing, and they like doing it on hillsides. They find a hill, so they make you sit up against the hill or do push-ups with your weight pulling you downward. And it just fucking really tears you up. But in the film, they don't show any of that. They actually don't show PT in this film. PT is a ritual you do.
They do. They have one scene. Or was that the second movie?
No, it's the second movie. Not in Stripes. All you see is the inserted scenes of Winger doing push-ups.
Yeah, that happens when you show prep at 3 a.m. You mix up the movies.
So basically, we cut to that scene where he's talking to him. We get to know Francis. If any of you guys touch me, I'll kill you. Anybody you call me Francis, I'll kill you. And everybody's like, what? You know,
And
but
drill sergeant is just smirking.
Holka just says, all right, cool your jets, Francis. And I'm like, immediately challenges his masculinity there. I like that. That was really good. And of course, Bill Murray's like, you know, I want to volunteer to be, you know, because drill sergeant, you know, Holka is the big toe, you know, and just it's a nice turnaround joke, callback joke, because let's, you know, any of you guys screw up and we'll see how far up your ass I can put that big toe, you know. And great lines in this film, great dialogue. But Bill Murray is a character who really doesn't change. And I think that's the one thing that's missing, because I like character arcs. I like characters that start as one thing and become something else by the end. Bill Murray's character just becomes a little better.
He does grow up. I mean, he saves their ass for graduation. He drills them all night and helps them get their shit together.
He does that, but then turns right around and steals the fucking vehicle that they're supposed to be guarding.
Yeah. He relapses immediately.
Yeah, immediately going back to old shenanigans. And he gets everybody in trouble. He is the cause of their woes in that third act. He is personally responsible for everything. But we've got some great performances in this film, and they graduate basic training somehow without a drill instructor, which is impossible. It would never happen.
Also,
but
they don't even have their uniforms on correctly when they march up. That was
they wake up late. They're late, you know, and they get out there to the parade field for graduation. And by the way, everybody else in that scene, except for a couple of actors, key actors on the field, like the corporal is an actor. Those are all actual active duty personnel serving there at Fort Knox, which is where they filmed that. And I love it. Those are actual soldiers getting to witness.
That they got to be extras.
They got to be there to watch this silliness happen. And so they go out there and they do the whole boom chugga lega lega boom chugga lega lega boom chugga lega lega boom. Might understand you lost your drill sergeant. That's the fact, Jack. You had to train yourselves. Like I said, there are multiple drill instructors in real life, drill sergeants. We had three drill sergeants, plus our first sergeant, because you have a first sergeant over all of them, is also a drill instructor. He's senior most drill instructor. And my senior drill instructor, I noticed that some of them, they had the pinky nails, the long ones. And I kept like, what the fuck is going on with that? What's with the long pinky nail? And someone told me cocaine.
What?
I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And he went, yeah, it's for snorting cocaine. Those guys were always energized. And then I went, oh, that's how they do that. Backdoor Gary Toe. Yes, Zach, you want the fucking video. Here you go. You get your fucking video. God, you're like a monkey.
Actually, Gary, there's another video you should play because we're in the middle.
Oh, are we? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Where is it?
59.
I got to play this one for. I'll play this one.
Wrong. I'm going to go check the back door. Back door.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the middle of the film.
Now, it takes longer to go over Stripes because that is an important film to me. It really is. It had an impact on my life. I know you had some issues with some of the scenes, but I love those scenes. The titty bar scene, you know, the wrestling. I love that scene because this is the first moment where you see them acting as a unit.
Yes, but they could have done it differently. That whole
I don't agree with you in any way, shape, or form. No, it was fun.
That works.
We got titties. It's a guy's film. It's a guy's film. It is really, in its own way, kind of a recruitment film because recruitment did go up after that movie got released because people wanted to live Stripes and then find out, like I said to that drill instructor, this is nothing like Stripes because it isn't.
The stuff my boyfriend makes me watch.
So they graduate basic training and immediately are deployed. I'm like, that doesn't happen either. You have to go to AIT. There's a whole being trained to do your job in the military thing. And not everybody in your platoon in basic is going. And also, by the way, platoons are actually more interlocked with each other because the drill sergeants all work together for that company. They all work together. They'll have us out there for company wide briefings, shit like that, formation. So that was all left out. Everything, a lot of shit was left out. But they went for the throat, the jugular with a lot of the jokes.
It was for the comedy in this movie. They clearly didn't have a military advisor or anything because
I don't think they had anybody as a military. They just like wrote this thing and went and made it. And I was really impressed that the U.S. Army allowed them to shoot this on there without demanding to be advisors on the film, because
it's a good comedy.
And this makes me wonder if Stripes is the reason why the Department of Defense, with any of the branches, now demands script proofing before they allow you to shoot with real personnel anymore. The military, the Department of Defense has to approve your script. And I believe Stripes is what led to that. I don't think anybody got pissed, but they're like, oh, that doesn't represent military life at all. But it's fun. And so they get deployed and are part of this operation with this new secret weapon. What is it? Urban assault vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's a payoff because in the first scene where they're talking about joining the military, he keeps bringing up getting an urban vehicle with Winnebago. He brings up 3 times, and that was our payoff. That's exactly what they got, was a Winnebago. And there's some great scenes. I love the scene. The Aunt Jemima scene, by the way, before they graduate, is one of my favorite scenes. I love that scene. And then, of course, they grab the girls after graduation and steal the vehicle because they just happen to be deployed at the same time.
Yeah, also they're deployed in Italy.
Yeah, Italy.
And then stuff happens on the German-Czechoslovakian border, which is like 3 countries away. I got geographically confused.
It's Italy is where they're at when they do it. And they just got to go through your home country. They got to go through Austria to get to Czechoslovakia. And so I said, the way they get away with this is, one, it's Hollywood geography. They are terrible at geography in film. It's like the thing later bringing up Chad and he says the ocean. It's like, well, anybody would know Chad's in the middle of Africa. Yeah. It's nowhere near a coast. But he was delusional. So anyway, so
I had geography. And
they steal the Winnebago of their dreams. It's armored. It's got rockets and shit and machine guns.
It's a fucking tank.
They go off on a leisure ride. And of course, Captain Stillman is pissed. Like, that freak out scene is one of my favorite moments in the film with Larry Cat. When he goes in, he goes, where's my fucking truck? Losing his shit. And because he's so terrified of losing his job, he doesn't allow them to report it. And Hulka keeps warning him, we need to report this. But Stillman is worried about his job. He's constantly worried about his career. Doesn't care about anybody else. And to be honest with you, John Winger is no different. He's all about his pleasure and fun. And so they're both.
One moment. No, I won't, Bill, because then you would all know how bad Gary's German is.
Oh, no. They know how bad my German is. And it's
I
only.
I just don't want to give them comparisons.
I refuse to speak German with an accent. I'm an American.
You have a horrible accent.
It's an American accent, and you love that accent. My American accent, you love me. And you take all of the love from me. And it makes me cry. No, it doesn't, but I love you.
Stop being a jerk. Get on with the show. We have a second movie to discuss.
Yeah, I know. Well, people keep slowing me down. Anyway,
by people, it's me.
They somehow end up in Czechoslovakia which was an
still don't
it was
know
an
how that
Eastern
happened.
Bloc state. It was part of the Eastern Bloc. And so they have Joe Flaherty as one of the guards, again, another SCTV guy, doing just a terrible Russian accent. His Russian is terrible, with an actual Russian actor.
It's not even real Russian, I think.
His isn't. No, he's throwing words together.
Yeah.
The other Russian speaks actual Russian in the film.
He does.
And now I'll tell you, Flaherty says several Russian words, but most of it doesn't make sense. They're just random Russian words. Shut up, Jacob. Welcome to the show, buddy. Let's see who else. Looks like some more people joined. Let me get.
Yep.
Brightest Day, Real Wade Nation. Said morning to them. Eastland Burkholder. Let's see. Burkholder was one of my favorite characters in Hogan's Heroes. Colonel Burkholder. Of course, I said hi to Cavaltino. Che. Pat S. I said hi to. Bill Barkley. I said hi to Kingsport Cal and Jacob the Critic. So I'm good. I'm caught up. So basically, they find out where they're going, and so they go after him. But Stillman is an idiot, and he's never going to not be an idiot, and gets them going the wrong direction. And Sergeant Holka is trying to warn him. Now, also, again, I want to point this out. Drill sergeants don't follow you to permanent party. But we love Sergeant Holka, so he's awesome. So he goes with them for some reason. And he's warning Captain Stillman not to do things. Stillman doesn't listen to him. And at one point, as they're being captured, he just says, fuck this shit. And he takes off on his own. And everybody turns over their weapons. It's a great moment because they open the back of the truck and all those guns are aiming at him. Then John Kennedy goes, oh, here you go. Just starts handing him the guns. They surrender. And they're captured and being held prisoner and kind of tortured, sort of. I guess PG-13 torture, light R torture, comedy, horror torture.
People has to go.
See you, D-Bud. Take care, buddy. So Winger
going solo shows that he's a great character because you're not quite sure up to this point, but that's where you realize that's a great guy.
Yes. So Bill Murray and the team discover they hear Holka trying to radio for help, and they're close enough somehow, even though where were they supposed to be? It looked Viennese.
No.
That place, the chalet they were at. I don't know.
No, that was someplace in Germany.
Oh, was it?
House of Habsburg. And the English spelling for Habsburg is terrible because it's with a P and not with a B.
Yeah.
That throws me off because it's supposed to be spelled with a B.
So they find out the team is looking for them and they've been captured. So they realize they got to do something. Nobody thinks to call the army.
Yeah.
And tell them, but they go off in their armored urban vehicle
with the girls.
Because
one of them is driving,
and they are trained military, so it makes sense that they could go. So they go to rescue him, and it leads to some funny hijinks, really funny stuff. The border guard scenes with Flaherty and the other guy is hilarious. He steals one of their uniforms, Flaherty's uniform, and Bill Murray does. And they break into the post by pretending to be, they captured this vehicle and give some vodka, no talking, because if he spoke, he would give it away. Just gives vodka to one of the guards. And of course, when he gets back into the vehicle, there's an officer that's immediately suspicious. Like, what is this? What is this? Why is this vehicle here? And immediately jig is up, how you want to phrase it. And they're already trying to figure out what are we going to do. So they're fighting their way to find the people, their people. And they finally get to the place. It leads to a funny moment, one of my favorite moments with Bill Murray, where he's doing that jumping around shit. Like, it just makes no sense.
Oh God, yeah.
Looking around. And what's her name? PJ Souls yells at him, "John, over here!" So he goes backwards towards her and slams into the wall. And when he slams into the wall, he lets out that sound, and I just laugh every time he does. I went back and watched it.
He played that scene 3 times.
I fucking love that moment when he does that. Oh,
it's funny.
And then Anima made the comment when the soldiers come over and start shooting at him when they're trying to get into that building. She made the line from my book, which is like my old platoon sergeant used to tell me, when all else fails, go grenade bowling. And
I mean, he does, but he does it late.
He does, but he's not throwing it at them. He's throwing it at the door to get them in there. Yeah. And so it's a fun scene. They get in there finally, and they beat the shit out of all the guards. And it's a funny scene when Candy breaks the door down because he's like so irritated with fucking Stillman and his whining, and breaks the door down. They escape. They get in a vehicle, and as they're leaving, they're facing tanks and shit. Great fun. Silly non-military fun. Combat doesn't work this way.
Also the tank shoots at them and nothing happens, and then they shoot at the tank and the tank is fucked. What?
You know, I'm just telling you, tanks don't fire incendiary rounds normally. They fire explosive rounds that are meant to do damage, to pierce through things.
It's a great effect, though, to
but
see all that fire and then
the fire that comes through it. It's just fun. It's a fun film. It's a silly film. Yeah. Hulka jumps on top of the vehicle. They escape, and he delivers that line, "I'm getting too old for this shit."
Yeah, because they go right through that one building at the border, and he's like,
"Yeah, they go through the building." Yeah. And he's like, checks down, and he's like, "I'm getting too old for this shit," you know. Great line. And then the heroics, they manage to get back and not be court-martialed. And instead they're hailed heroes, and we get the big airport scene shot in Southern California Air Base, which was still open when they shot the film. I think it's closed now. Down in San Bernardino, and because I immediately spotted those mountains. Those are California mountains. I know California mountains when I see them. And Hulka gets his revenge. I love it. Hulka gets the last ding on Winger when they see each other, and Hulka sticks that hand out, and Bill Murray goes, and he reaches to shake his hand, and he pulls it away into a salute. And Bill Murray's like, "Oh, you old sly dog." He salutes him back. And it was a fun moment. John Candy is now in charge of the squad. There, for some reason, instead of being hailed heroes too, they're there as the honor guard and greeting him, and leads to a funny moment. And then they turn around and start to march away. The music plays, and absolutely the worst marching I have ever seen. Oh, it was worse than when they first started. They're like they never learned how to turn, and they're like making turns that nobody makes in the military. It's just really funny. And then of course they sing that song. And I will tell you this, in the real military, when you first start basic training, you try singing a song and see what the fuck happens to you. Good luck with that. Yeah. A great song, don't get me wrong. There she was, just walking down the street, singing doo-wah-diddy. Yeah. They will smoke you.
Yeah. Well,
but they do it at the end, which is where it should have happened. You know, that should have been a payoff for them getting to do something. Is at the end when they finally get to sing that song. I thought that'd be funny. Hulka Burgers, that's right. The payoffs at the end too on this with the
how they wrapped up the characters with the newspapers.
The newspapers, and that Stillman is not even the main headline. He's like this little bite story, you know, at the bottom, fucking in the Aleutians up in Alaska or some shit. It was crazy. Looked so unhappy with that face. It was great. You know, I love that film. But I always make this comment about the film that it was made by a bunch of guys that didn't know shit about the military and wrote about things they thought happened in the military. They heard
It's
some
still a
stuff.
great comedy. It's
Oh, it
very
is.
entertaining to watch. I would go back and watch it
I
again.
am so happy when I watch that film. I am so overjoyed.
Yeah.
Now we get into In the Army Now. And In the Army Now, I hail this film not because of how funny it is, because I don't think it's really all that funny. I hail it for the fact that a military comedy actually pretty much shows you what it's like being in the military.
They get the
did a
military
fair
stuff
job.
right.
They really did. They went a little out of order because the bugle stick scene actually happens in your last 2 weeks of basic, because you've learned how to fight. You go out there for hand-to-hand combat training, and I was out there going, that's not how you do that, but okay, I'll learn it the way you do, and then I'll unlearn it right afterward, because I won't fight that way, because I know how to take somebody down. And but they have some interesting things they teach you. A lot of it's judo. There are a few strikes. Most of it's judo. And they show the bugle stick fight early. But I do like the film because it once again, it repeats the scene with the recruiter. And you got to be careful. You got to be careful showing recruiter scenes, because you got to be careful. You're not going to steal from Stripes, who set the standard for military comedies. And it really is one of the best, not accurate, but best military comedies ever made is Stripes, if not the best. In the Army Now, I would put it down 5 pegs below it. They're older, the older military. Yeah, a Periscope. I mean, my God, I love that fucking movie. There's quite a few. There's the Best Submarine in the Army is a great fucking comedy, military comedy. Trying to think of another good one from the old days. That
the one with
Hunt for Red October.
That's up. Isn't that up Periscope?
I don't remember the name, but they gave him.
No, Up Periscope is the James Garner film. Yes, great comedy. Hold on a second. There was one. Hold on. This is one too I like with Tony Curtis. Operation Petticoat. That's a fucking funny movie.
Yeah.
I think Billy Wilder directed that. No, it's Blake Edwards, one of his early films. Yeah, Blake Edwards.
That's the one. Down Periscope.
Down. Up Periscope is the film, the other film. Down Periscope is the one with Kelsey. And I enjoyed that one too. One of the worst Navy comedies is McHale's Navy movie with Roseanne Barr's ex-husband, Tom Arnold. I don't like that movie. Not funny. But going back to this film, let me end the Army now. There's actually, as I recall, there's an old movie that it's mistaken for that one because it's called In the Army Now, but it was more of a training film or something like that.
Your audio just went really bad again.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's hope that eventually we are going to figure this one out, guys.
I have open. So anyway,
there you go.
You have a couple of actors in this other film that I really like. Actually, there's like 3 or 4. I despise Andy Dick. I think he's a filthy scumbag of a human being. But this was before he went over the deep end of crazy and started doing damage to people's lives. So he was still affable at this point. And in the Army Now, he plays best friends with Pauly Shore's character. And just like with Stripes, they lose their situation. Fired from their jobs. And they decide, let's look at the military. So they go to a recruiter, and the recruiter is played by Daniel Petrie. And it's it's not a funny scene, but it's a very accurate scene. They're signed up in the military, and then they go to basic training. And I like the fact that the movie follows really pretty much in line what happens in basic training and then AIT. And AIT is Advanced Individual Training. Yeah, the Pink Submarine. Yep. So basically, we see what it's like training classes, the classrooms, depending on where you're at. The classrooms we had at Fort Lost in the Woods, Fort Leonard Wood, were old buildings. And these things were built during or right after World War II. Oh, fuck you, Shellback. I love the real McHale's Navy. And I'm a big fan of that show. And I got excited when that movie came out, and I was very disappointed with it. Tom Arnold's fucking hairpiece is garbage. You could see the fucking material holding his hair down. It was really bad.
You went right back to roboting, just so you know. I think that's what that comment was for. Like, fixed it, and it broke up again. Hi, Comic Relief Crusader.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you, man.
Still bad, by the way.
I unplugged it. There's nothing else I can...
No, it's fine. Seems fine now.
So, we've got a great cast here. You've got Pauly Shore. I don't think is a very good actor. He's not. I don't even think he's that great a comedian. I always enjoyed him. But I never laughed at anything he said. Andy Dick has his moments. I liked him in news radio. Lori Petty, I had the hots for when I was in the Army. She was hot. She was Tank Girl. Tank Girl's not that great a film. It's really not. But I love her in that film. She is so fucking hot, sexy. She's so sassy, and that's such a fucking turn on for certain guys like me. We like sassy, we like loudmouth, like funny women, and what's funny in real life, she met David Alan Grier, who's in this movie, and they actually got engaged. They almost got married. They had a long relationship for several years, but then she realized that her career was starting to slump, and she thought the relationship was doing it, and ended it, and still her career slumped. And I don't know why. I think she's a very good actor. But David Alan Grier is one of the funniest characters in the film. And the funniest moment in the film is with him. It's when they meet him in the classroom, and when he squeals and jumps when the guy behind him touches him. It's just one of the funniest moments. I had to go back and watch it a couple of times.
He touches him with a pencil, and he acts like he's being stabbed from behind.
Stabbed or something. He's just totally freaked out.
So stupid.
Yeah, man. Phil Hartman. Just so you know, not to derail, Phil Hartman. I founded Blade Zone, the Blade Runner fan club, online. That website has been up and available every day since 1997, except for one day, the day that Phil Hartman died. I shut it down and just put in memory of Phil Hartman as our opening page with no links, because that broke my fucking heart. I cried when he got murdered. And Andy Dick is part of the reason why he died. He absolutely is directly a cause for Phil Hartman's murder, because his wife had been clean for 48 months. And Andy Dick talked her into doing some coke. And then she went into a bender.
Fuck.
And that bender ended with his murder. Direct correlation.
That's horrible.
And that is why I don't know. I always joked that it was a slap fight between him and Saturday Night Live, the liar, who took Phil Hartman's place on the show when he died, because they were best friends in real life. Hey, Peter Venkman fansite. And so it led to a comment by Andy Dick to that comedian. Fuck, I don't remember his name. where he says, "I'll put the he did the devil fingers. I'll put the Phil Hartman hex on you," meaning you'll die. And that's when John Lovitz, that's his name, little fucking fatty John Lovitz, fucking got into a fucking slapping match with him. And supposedly knocked the shit out of him. But I just don't see John Lovitz being a good fighter. I just don't see it. And he hates his guts to this day. Hates him. And I would too. I don't like Andy Dick. Andy Dick, his life ended when Phil Hartman died, because he carries that guilt with him, that he knows that he was the one that led to this. He helped this happen, and he's got to live with that. And so he's been arrested. I think he's now been convicted of something. Isn't he in jail now?
I don't know.
Looking at John. John might know, because he's a big Andy Dick fan, if you didn't know.
John, you're muted. Can't hear you.
Yes, he was convicted on sexual battery on an Uber driver. So, yeah. And what I find funny is that, Kevin Smith loves to talk shit about John Lovitz, man. I'm like, John Lovitz was a star doing shit when you were just coming up selling your comic collection to make Clerks. I love that cartoon, by the way. I agree. That was a fun show, The Critic. Great animated comedy. I need to introduce you to that one, Anima. I need to show you that one. I think they got 3 seasons, something like that out of that show. But anyway,
more stuff to watch.
So there's so much out there that you have not been exposed to.
I know.
So you've got appearances by some other actors I want to point out. And one, a great comedian that Keith and I talked about on Saturday, which is Paul Mooney, is in this movie. He is the lieutenant colonel in charge of their reserve unit there in California. And when they get activated to go to Chad as peacekeepers, Andy
that
Dick
scene
and
is
Polly...
so funny with the girl that they end up with in class. And they're like, we are water guys and we are reservists and nothing's going to happen. We're just going to get the money. And then they get activated and she's like, well, yeah, that's why
that's what everybody thinks.
Water people, because we're about to have a war in the desert. And they're like, oh, shit.
So, yeah, and so we end up meeting Paul Mooney because they want to get out. They don't want to go. So they pretend to be gay with each other. And Paul Mooney goes, no problem. Kiss each other.
That was funny.
I want to see you kiss each other. And they couldn't do it. At the end of it, it's like Paulie just goes, reporting for duty, sir. And
can you hear me now?
You
oh
sound
my
horrible.
God. Sounds like shit. What the fuck?
My ears are bleeding. And not just because Gary's
Sorry.
It sounds like you're talking through like an old time phone.
Yeah,
No,
that
they
was.
didn't
That,
sound that
We also
Yeah.
meet Fabiana Udinio, plays his Pauly Shore's girlfriend, who sends him a Dear John, which was very common in the military. As the combat medic, my job a lot of the time was to sit down with guys. I was dad. I was older than these guys. I knew more than them, saw more than them. And so part of my job was to sit down with guys when they got Dear John letters and help them work through it. Because medics' jobs is the morale, not just the physical health, but the mental health of their team. And so seeing that really cut true, getting a Dear John letter. It fucking hurts when you get them, man. And I never got one. But I did break up with Patty while I was in the Army. I got mad at her. We got over it. We stayed friends. But yeah, I got so mad at her, I yelled at her and hung up the phone. 3 guys that didn't know me were outside the phone booth. So row of phone booths, like I told you, that you see in movies. That was one thing that was immediately spotted at Fort Knox that Army soldiers back then recognizes. Every block of barracks has a row of telephone booths. Everyone. And so these guys started laughing, and I immediately challenged all three to a fight. I said, "You guys laughing at me? You think that shit's funny? Why don't you come over here and laugh closer to me?" No. I'm not going over you. Come to me. They wouldn't do it. Because one of my buddies was there and just looked at him and said, "Don't do it. We've watched him. He beats the shit out of people." And so I love that was in surprise. But in this film, the Dear John really hit home. And but that opened the door for a relationship with another character who we want him to get with is Lori Petty. She plays the part of Christine. She's the sassy, badass little female soldier. When they're taking cover, she jumps out because at that point they didn't allow women in combat. And this movie touched on something that did happen, and we saw it happen with the war in Iraq. And also in Afghanistan, these women that were in convoys getting into fucking firefights with the enemies in Afghanistan and in Iraq. Ambushes. And that's how that one young lady got taken hostage in a hospital, the Iraqi hospital, and the special forces had to go in and get her. Her book was "I'm a Soldier Too." Was the title of the book. But anyway, so women in combat has now become something kind of normal. And I'm going to tell you something. My only problem with females in the military is that they're not physically capable of carrying somebody. That was my beef. Like, if I get shot, you better fucking be able to pick me up and carry me. If you have to leave me behind because you don't have the upper body strength to carry a full-grown man, do not join an infantry unit. You belong rear echelon.
They go through training, though, so they should have the strength. I mean, unless they're tiny, so...
Yeah, I told you what happened. Yeah, some of them don't get the upper body strength. And the other girl, by the way, that I made cry that day when I tried to make a point with them, she ended up being medevaced. I had to medevac her out because she laid down on a nest of fire ants.
Ah, nasty.
And she had a reaction to it, anaphylactic reaction. So, but anyway, this has got some great moments in it. And my favorite is when they go get deployed. And that's where you meet Art LaFleur. We just lost him a few years ago. Great actor. He plays their first sergeant. He says first sergeant to him, "I'm your first sergeant." He goes, "I wish you were. I've actually had other sergeants before you."
Yeah, that was good.
That one was a funny line. I was like, "Oh my God." And he did.
Oh my God, John.
What happened in real life? You say something stupid to a senior NCO or officer, you're going to get smoked. That's why I hate that fucking movie, The Hurt Locker. They have that character doing shit that nobody fucking does or gets away with. Bullshit. This movie, he gets smoked when he fucking does stupid shit. And when he gets up, the first thing that first sergeant says, "You look like you've done a lot of push-ups before." He goes, yes, for sergeant. He goes, "That's never going to happen again. I'm going to put you on KP." Like potatoes. I love military punishment's amazing. So many things. It's like, "Oh, was that not enough for you? Well, let's do something else then." So you get some great characters in this film, and I think one of my favorites is actually Issei Morales, is the special forces dude, and he's the typical badass special forces guy that gets annoyed with the loudmouth Pauly Shore character, and it's in the scene. It's the same scene where we get to see Brendan Fraser reprise his role as Link, because it's on his name tag, Link, and he walks up and he says, "Don't eat the chicken; it tastes just like frog." And he walks away, and Pauly Shore's like, I know him." And I was amused by that. Because I'm a big Brendan Fraser fan. I love that guy. And so Issei Morales, for some reason, is fucking with this weapon at the chow hall. That wouldn't happen. You wouldn't be able to do that. So he has his weapon out and he's taking it apart, putting it back together again really quick. I can do faster. And so Pauly Shore's character wants to like make fun of it. So he pulls out his military flashlight and he's pulling it apart, and the spring flies out of it and hits Morales in the face and lands in his food. So immediately it's a cafeteria scene from high school instead of like the military. So he becomes that guy that Pauly Shore is going to fuck with, and he's going to fuck with him back. And so as they're fucking with each other, we find out that the Special Forces team, it's a payback moment between Pauly and him, that he's going to get sent out. Because what they did is they went out to where they were filtering water, because that's their job. They're water boys. And they all get taken, put on boards, and taped down and left in the middle of the fog. And First Sergeant wants to know who did it. And he's like, he says, I can't tell you, First Sergeant. He goes, I understand, soldiers, that you don't want to betray their trust. And he goes, oh no, I'm just really afraid of them. Because he's such a pussy. His character really is such a pussy. But that's the change you see in his character. He actually has personal growth in the film. He starts doing real soldier shit. Going, holy shit, I learned how to do this. I know how to do this. He does have a great fuck up moment. Because I knew idiots like him. There are drawing instructions on rockets for a reason. It's to make the weapon idiot proof. And they even say it in the movie. They're idiot proof. Drill sergeant. Also, drill sergeant again in this movie. Drop it, give me 20. That bugged me. No drill sergeant says that. They never tell you the number. They don't want you to know how many you have to do. But I love the fact that
they keep doing that every movie.
Yeah, stop doing that. It's like drill sergeants do not tell you how many push-ups you've got to do. That is a question mark over your body. They're going to do it to you until they are done. They are done, not you. They are done, or until they feel that you have been punished physically enough. And so they go out on that operation and then aren't found. And at the same time, the water boys have to go do something. Everything goes foobar, and they get captured in the process by the who was it? I forgot who. Was it not Libyans? Was it Libyans or Syrians? I can't remember.
I don't know.
In the film, I think it was Libyans. Oh, no.
Chad, though.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't Chad soldiers.
They end up in Libya when they like get lost in the desert. I don't remember.
Libyans would make more sense for the time frame.
Yeah.
I do believe it was the Libyans, and because they had actual chemical warfare, and they had the classic Scud missiles brought up there that were the Patriots did a really good job of taking down during the Gulf War, first Gulf War, and so they have Scuds, and so the team gets captured. And they're being held prisoner, and they find out that SA is in there too, the Special Forces Ranger. Okay. And so he's fucked up, physically injured. And so they end up having to take care of him. They figure out, oh, we got to escape here. And so while they're trying to escape, the klaxon goes off, and they think they've set off the alarm, but actually it's an air raid. American planes coming are bombing the shit out of this base. And they are able to escape. And in the process, they
well, because she makes a hole in the wall. Because
she
every
finds
building gets
a
bombed
weak
down,
point.
but the one that they are
they're damaged,
like,
and so the walls are damaged. So she just kicks her way through it, and they take the ranger with them, and are taking care of him, and they end up finding a drop
he can't walk
in the process
because he
can't walk. They have to carry him. They have to drag him. So I said that he's messed up, physically messed up. So they have to take him. That's why I said take. And so they've got him. They're having to take care of him. and they are going and they find the drop that was meant for the Ranger team of 2 military grade dune buggies, armed dune buggies, which are badass. And so they load everybody up in there, including the Ranger, and they think, that's it. We're going to be able to do this thing. And I can't remember everything. I want to simplify it because we're coming down to the end of the show and I'm trying to rush through this. So I enjoyed that part of it too. And I can't remember, do they get back to the fob? They
get a call that they have to mark the target, that it's now on them. Because
that target that they know about with those rockets is they got to stop them. So in that equipment is the equipment that was supposed to be used by the Rangers is the laser painting device.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is paint that. Well, the thing is, you don't paint it until you're given the command to do it. You just hide. And then they go, all right, they're coming into your area.
He has to keep it on for 7 minutes.
Yeah, but that's stupid. That was so stupid because you don't have to paint it the whole 7 minutes. You only have to paint it when they're in range to shoot it.
But before that, I thought it was funny how he tried to weasel his way out of it. Like,
nobody wanted to do it.
Yeah, nobody wanted to do it. Which is the one was, listen, you're soldiers, so go do your job.
Go do your job. My favorite part of that is during because absolutely, Pauly Shore's character lacks any military bearing at all.
Yeah.
And his conversation on the radio is really funny to me because, again, when he got back, no matter how well he did, he would have got smoked for some of the shit he said on that radio.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. I'm talking with my buddies. You mean your team? They're not your buddies. They're your team. But anyway, his character had no military bearing at all. But that's the fun part of the film. It's a silly film. I don't think it's anywhere near as funny as Stripes. Not even 1/10 as funny. No. But I think that it's a pretty accurate film for military stuff.
Stripes is silly funny, like really silly funny.
Well, this one's too, but it actually uses like some military stuff to make it funny. Like when that sergeant says he's going to promote him because he makes his first water from basically sewage.
And no one wants to try it.
Nobody wants to drink it. It's that classic scene from the Life commercial. It's like, I don't want to eat it. You eat it. I don't want to eat it. Let's get Mikey eat it. And they do that whole gag there. It's funny. And finally, the sergeant, their platoon sergeant's the one who does it. And he walks up and he looks at the water, sniffs it, takes a drink. He goes, "This is the best water."
No, first he goes, "Who made that?" And they all
and they're like, "He did," pointing to Pauly Shore. He goes, "This is the best water I've ever tasted." Processed or whatever they call it. And then he said, "I'm going to get you your E2. I'm going to get you your E2, man." And Pauly goes, I'd like to thank it. Everybody thinks he's going to thank the team, but he thanks his brother, the pool boy.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. I enjoyed the end of the film. It's a good wrap-up scene. It
was stupid though when they managed to paint the target and they shot it from above from the planes and they didn't run. That's chemical weapons there.
Yeah, I did say that. It's like,
you finish
the
job
minute
and you run
that you hear
the fuck away.
That hit, fucking haul ass upwind.
Yep.
You don't want to be anywhere around that thing when it explodes because it's going in the air.
That was stupid.
And it's just something that they didn't think about. But they did, I commend it because it's more accurate militarily. It really is funny that they used real military stuff. The only thing that was out of order was the pugil scene. And I thought it was funny that he had the hots for his female drill instructor.
Yeah.
We had a female drill instructor and none of us liked her because no matter how tough the drill sergeants were, she always felt she had to be that much more tougher. And I hated the way she said left, right.
Yeah.
She would go, your left, your left, your left, right, your left, right. And it's like, stop doing that.
It was funny though in the beginning when the one guy is like, no, I can't do it. They are going to yell at me, and he's trying to stay on the track. And then the female drill sergeant walks right up and starts shouting at him. And it's like, okay, I can do
Well,
this.
the funny part of
And
that
she's
is there's
smoking
shit
his
going
ass.
on in the foreground. There's stuff going on in the foreground with Pauly Shore. And the shit happening to Andy Dick's character is all happening in the background. You got to pay attention to it to catch it. And it's funny as hell. He gets yanked. He gets yanked by the drill sergeant. That was a funny moment.
Yeah,
let's not forget the camel. I just remembered.
I
That
hate
was so
camels.
funny.
I'd rather
That
not
was so
remember
funny.
them.
Yeah, they bite him. Gary hates camels.
I got bit 3 times by camels in the
I think
military.
they're cute.
Yeah, my nephew's
They spit on me too all the time.
And my nephew's JROTC meet, which the school placed first overall. But they had a bunch of drill sergeants from Fort Leonard Wood come down to do all the judging and stuff, and there were female drill sergeants, including one that was like, if she was 5 foot, I'd be surprised.
Exactly. And by the way, Cavatino, totally right. All you need is know how to shoot a back azimuth and triangulate. Yeah. Oh, the compass joke. I forgot about that. After they were lost in the fucking desert.
Walking in circles.
They need equipment, and they're bartering with the local people there in Chad. And the guy says he wants Andy Dick's watch, points at the watch, and Andy Dick goes, "Oh no, that's personal for me. It's it's got the special moon clock, and it's got a compass." And Polly's eyes gets big and looks at him and goes, "You had a compass?"
Yeah.
While we were lost?
Like, seriously, dude. And that's the scene where they barter for the camel because the one dude can't walk, so they have to get a camel to put him on.
They get a camel, and it fucking loves Pauly Shore's character. Just kisses him and shit. I fucking hate them. They smell awful. They got terrible breath.
That's true, but a lot of animals do.
One of my favorite moments in Hollywood history is when Schwarzenegger punched that fucking camel. Because I wanted to do it so many times. And I remembered that when I got bit. That I was
like, don't punch animals.
No, I wouldn't. I would never harm an animal. Well, I mean, unless it absolutely was relentless in trying to hurt me, then I would fucking put it down.
Yeah, that's
and it's a rule of mine, by the way, for dogs. I will never have a breed that if it goes bad, goes mad, like with a disease, loses itself, loses control, rabies, what have you. I will never own a dog that I can't knock unconscious with a punch. And absolutely. And I did punch a dog once. You guys can get upset if you want to. I apologize. I was protecting my puppy. I was out walking my puppy, and this giant Great Dane came running out at me and my puppy. And when I turned and saw this, my buddy's friend from school, a buddy of mine from school, Dwayne Tate, and it was his dog. He lived right around the corner from me growing up. And his dog just coming at me, flopping fucking saliva flying out.
Terrifying.
And he's coming at me. I wasn't scared of him, but I was scared for my dog. So I scooped my little husky up into my arm like a football, and I spun. And right when he got right up to me, I turned and fucking gave it a right hook right to the side of the head and knocked it stupid. I put my hip into it, just knocked the shit out of that dog. And I don't think I knocked it out, but I knocked it stupid. It was like stumbling around for a minute, like, what happened?
Gary happened.
I think you showed your ass is what happened. And you showed your ass with my puppy, and I'm going to protect my puppy. Arnie punched Paxton in True Lies. Yes. That is a good scene. I love that whole thing with Paxton. Paxton, again, that guy had a star that my dad and I watched. We love that guy. What a great actor. And it's from the first movie that we saw him in that we noticed him was the science movie. My Science Project, was that it, or Weird Science? Weird Science.
Yeah.
And
Chet.
Yeah, Chet, and he gets turned into a turd or a booger. I can't remember which one it is. I've been corrected on that one. Yeah, thank you, Shellback. Fuck you. I will do anything to protect a baby, child, or a small dog. I will do anything. You've got to protect the things you love, man.
Yep.
I identified with John Wick. A lot of us do. Anybody who has ever had a dog and loved that dog fucking understood John Wick going out and killing that fucking pug. And I love that. By the way, Anime watched it without me. And Anima saw that scene, and I really wanted to be there for that scene when he's trying to negotiate with John Wick as he's walking towards him, the kid. And he just, in the middle of talking, he just puts a bullet in his head and then walks away calmly. It's over. I came here for one reason and one reason only, to kill the person that shot my dog. What's this?
Somebody made a Bill Paxton pinball machine.
Fuck yes. Chuck, there needs to be Hudson in there. I hope Hudson's in there.
I'm sure he is somewhere.
Hudson's one of the greatest characters in film history.
It must say it's game over, man, when you lose.
Yeah, game over, man.
Yeah.
And by the way,
hey Vasquez, anybody ever mistake you for a man?
By the way, John Wick's puppy wasn't killed by a shot; it was killed with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Beat to death. Yeah.
Man, that made me cry.
No, Cavatina, just to tell you what happened. Dwayne started to freak out on me because I hit his dog. But I looked at him, I pointed at him, I said, I wouldn't have hit him if he wasn't threatening my dog, my puppy. I said, you need to keep that dog behind a fence or on a leash. And he goes, yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. And he apologized to me. Oh, you had a Saint Bernard. I've never been around a real Saint Bernard in real life. Never met one.
Oh, yeah. Giant. They're like bears.
Yeah, the biggest dog I have ever been around is a Great Dane. And Jim Woodward's Great Dane. I told you what happened with him.
Great Dane is taller, but St. Bernard is like a tank in dog form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive. Very impressive.
The most muscular dogs, because I used to play with a Roddy. It was one of my buddy's dogs. And my God, I remember one night we were fucking around in the house, just having some fun. And he got that dog going, man. And all of a sudden, man, he's having a boxing match with this fucking dog. And Jim is a bodybuilder, a power builder, not just for mass. He was a power lifter. And he had a fucking right hook I didn't want to get hit by. Or his left hook. He had powerful arms. And he tagged that dog one night. We were fucking around playing with the dog. And that dog just shook it off and came right back at him. And I looked at that and I saw how much force he put into that punch. That scared the shit out of me. And that was the night I said, I will never own a dog I can't knock out if it's needed. Because of his dog. It was a big old Roddy. Great dog. Just the most loving dog.
Yeah,
but
I had a Doberman growing
Mastiffs. Up. Yeah, they're big.
My neighbor has one of those, and his fence is useless. You always see the dog running around in the street, but he's as docile as a puppy. I think the dog still think he's a puppy.
All dogs think they're puppies, all the way till they die. They don't understand size difference. That's why a Chihuahua can scare the shit out of a Doberman. It's happened. I've seen it. Doberman's like,
hey, listen.
Fuck, man.
Chihuahuas are fucking scary. I don't like them.
I've been bit by 3 dogs in my life. 2 of them were Chihuahuas and 1 was a Shar-Pei.
They're vicious, man. And no, Bill, I have not.
My sister has a blue tick that thinks it's a lap dog.
Looks like we got some more people. Well, of course, Comic Crusader this year. Peter Vinkman said, and Scribe Light. Good. All right. I said hi to everybody. So I said hi to everybody, and it's about time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
You showed up at the end of the show. For those of you that missed it, Small Time Republic is here. Hi. What I basically came to the conclusion of is I love Stripes more than I love In the Army Now. I think it is a funnier film, better comedy,
It is,
better
yeah.
cast. But
It sucks
at the same time, it's just so inaccurate. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's fantasy. Like I said, it was written by people who knew nothing about the military and wrote off of stuff they heard. And whereas In the Army Now actually really pays attention to what they do.
Yeah, I
And
think you're absolutely
puts things
right
in.
that Stripes taught the military a lesson, not to do movies like that again.
No, I really do think so. I do think because after that, the DOD stated that all scripts need to be approved not only by that branch, but by the Department of Defense before the DOD will allow that branch to assist in the making of that film. Also, you cannot have an external military advisor when working directly with the DOD. And another film that was a lesson was a little film called Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood. And the Army looked at that and went, yeah, we want nothing to do with this movie. And they walked away from the table. They read the script and like, no. Marine Corps is like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Clint Eastwood, fuck yeah. 3/4 of the way through the shooting of everything shot there on the base, the Marine Corps says, I think we're going to stop helping you. We see what you're doing here and we don't like some of it. And so the Marine Corps backed out and they stopped helping. And so Hollywood was on their own for the rest of the film. Clint Eastwood was on his own. And, but despite the stupidity of the film, Heartbreak Ridge, I will say it's got some of the greatest lines in it from Clint Eastwood. Why don't you lay there and bleed a while before you taste some real pain? What a great fucking line.
Yeah.
Another great line. That is the AK-47, the preferred weapon of your enemy. It has a distinct sound. Learn it well. As he shoots at
Boom, baby.
AK-47 when absolutely every motherfucker in the room has got to die. What movie is that from? Come on now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Really? It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. You don't know? It's a Samuel L. Jackson.
Sam
All
Jackson.
right.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
It's not true.
Hey, man.
I just wanted 7.62 though. I will tell you that.
I didn't come on to derail you. I just wanted to do what you did to me the other day. I just wanted to pop in, say hi, cause like a minute of disruption, and then I can pop out. But,
We're at the end of the show. There's nothing to derail anymore.
Ah,
We're
fuck.
done.
Damn it,
Shut up.
Martine. Like, we messed up the joke. Oh, well.
Here's the punchline.
Hey, Gary, seriously, I cannot thank you enough. I can't thank Polly enough. Everybody who's been giving me feedback and constructive criticism to help me. Like, I don't know if you got a chance to watch yesterday's show, but I got so much love and positive feedback that it was like when I said earlier in the chat that I was so like happy when it was over. I didn't mean I was happy that it was over. It was just like at the end of it, I was just so happy. You know what I mean? That like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get you.
yeah.
Okay.
Did you do what we all recommended to you to do some manscaping down below because it makes you feel better?
Well, next week's sponsor is the Manscaped 4.0. You need to crop your no.
So Anima's gone. She's like, I'm out of here.
Dude, if
The minute
like
it's the pubic region jokes, it's time to
It's
go.
too much of a sausage fest now. so
dude,
fine.
if we're gonna go there, I had the funniest conversation last night with Cece and Steve, our roommate. We're outside smoking a cigarette, and Steve said something about like me having big because I was joking with like manning up to him, but like Steve is like a gigantic man, like gigantic. So it's comical when I'm just fucking with him, right? And he's fucking with me. And he's like, oh, so Danny grows some balls, huh? And then Cece's like, his balls are huge. They're the size of a baby kitten. He doesn't need to grow them. If anything, he needs a ball reduction surgery. And I was like, damn, way to throw me under the bus. So yeah, if I didn't manscape, you wouldn't even see my pecker because like